What can we say? Kirby Joseph continues to prove that the Lions rookie class is something you don't want to mess with. Lions go into Lambeau, don't look great in the first quarter, but they rally it all together in the second, third, and most importantly, fourth quarter. And Aaron Rodgers, have we seen the end of him in a Green Bay Packer uniform? We're going to dive into all that. How the Lions finished the year from going from 1-6 to 9-8. No, they don't make the playoffs, but you know what? What a turnaround it's been. And I think if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you'll take it and say, man, how soon can we get to free agency in the draft and get September here for the 2023 season? Because we're looking pretty good. Let's talk about that, review the game, and maybe just a little bit more in today's very late coming at you edition of Lions Talk Live. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in so late, if you're watching this after the game, for Lions Talk Live. And man, you know, Seattle pulled it off. I get a lot of disappointment from the fan base, and I have to imagine, at least to some degree, the players and coaching staff. But the Lions do what the Lions do in the second half of the year. They go in and they find it a way to pull out wins. You know, like I said in the intro, Kirby Joseph, you got Malcolm Rodriguez out there making plays. You got Aiden Hutchinson. The rookie class just continues to look better and better, and Jamison Williams did get a number of snaps. He did get a touchdown, but as I'm sure we all know, it was called back because of a holding call. But it is what it is. The Lions wanted to end the season strong, and they did just that. They punched Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in the mouth and kept punching. And every time you thought Rodgers and the gang would mount a comeback, make it happen for them, the Lions defense, as young as it is, stepped up and ended the game. Now let's talk about the motivation of the Lions. You know, Campbell goes into the game, and it's quoted on NBC that if we can't get in, you can't either. So I think Dan Campbell, if you watch Lions Talk Live throughout the season, you've heard me say this, Campbell and his coaching staff came in last year without really defined experience strengths. You know, they weren't known as this, that, or the other thing. But what you can say about Campbell is he is a motivator of people, and people do enjoy playing for him. So I had no doubt, even though it looked like Seattle had a chance to lose, it didn't happen. Campbell's the right guy to have out there firing up the troops and getting them ready to perform. Now, let's real quick talk about the offense in the first half. All right, let's start talking about the first half by focusing on the defense. And I'm going to start off by talking about Aiden Hutchinson. If that first half performance doesn't lock up Defensive Rookie of the Year for him, man, I don't know. I mean, he's got a ton of sacks as a rookie. Obviously, the picks, you know, the fumble recoveries. He's playing more and more in coverage than I ever would anticipate he is. There were a couple times even today in the first half where Aaron Glenn dropped him into coverage, and he was actually pretty effective with it. You know, Anceloni, I think his performance, while it's not throughout the season, it hasn't been, you know, Pro Bowl level, he's become fairly reliable. He's, you know, good in coverage, run support's great, and you're seeing a number of players continue to develop. With Jeff Okudah out of this game, it was nice to see in the first half Mike Hughes play a very good game. I mean, he's covered well. He's busted up a few passes and played a key role in that fumble recovery right before the half. You know, I'm sure it was the cold or whatever you want to equate to it, but Goff did not come out starting the game particularly strong. You can see a lot of wobble on the passes, you know, a little bit of inaccuracy. But later in the second quarter, you could see he started hitting up. You know, the spirals were getting tighter. The passing, you know, timing was getting improved. And then that drive right before the half to get the field goal, you know, that was great. That keeps us in the game at halftime down 9-6. And let me ask anybody out there, have you ever seen a personal foul on a field goal where some guy just comes up and knocks the ball out of the hands of the center before the hike? That was a new one for me. When they, you know, threw the flag, I figured they were calling offsides or something. I had no idea it was going to be a personal foul, but good thing for us it happened because, you know, it made it a lot easier and achievable field goal, and what a way to go into the half. Now, with that being said, the Lions' running game was fairly stagnant throughout the first quarter. Much like the first game against the Packers committed 8 guys into the box and really focused on shutting down our run game first and foremost. The 2-minute drill, when we got recovered the fumble and the Lions were able to go down the field, Goff was crisp, you know, swift out of the backfield really helped a ton. And Khalif Raymond, keeps continuing to work his way up the charts. It was also nice in that first half to see Jamison Williams get involved. He had a couple of snaps out on the field. Obviously, the flea flicker was huge, but unfortunately, we got called for a holding penalty on Matt Nelson, and looked more like a WWE move. He did what he could to keep Goff upright, but unfortunately, it did take that touchdown off the board. But what I will say for Jamison Williams is, man, watching him more and more, his speed really is next level. And I'm sure that's something we'll all look forward to seeing next season in Detroit. All right, let's talk about the third quarter. Kind of just a back and forth contest in the third quarter. Nobody really taking advantage of much. Nobody really able to do a whole lot. But the one thing that did happen is the Packers did reestablish the lead after the Lions claimed it. So we're going to the fourth quarter. I'm sure anybody watching knows Kirby Joseph. Man, I don't know what it is about this guy, but he knows Aaron Rodgers. He nearly has one pick before the Packers go down and score to take the lead. And then once the Lions are forced into punting, he does pick them off early in the fourth quarter, but it's wiped out by John Kaminsky, hand to the face penalty. It is what it is. I mean, Kaminsky's done a lot this season. Unfortunately, one time he gets called for a penalty, and it's an ideal time. Lions, though, get the lead back after a nice long drive. He got a ton of great runs from Jamal Williams. You got some good runs from Swift catching the ball in the backfield. And then the Packers do something they normally don't do. The late hit on DeAndre Swift, even though that's not really what got called. It should have been called. But then it's just another crazy moment. Medical staff come out to work on Swift. And then Walker from the Packers pushes one of the medical staff. I mean, I've just never seen that, just like in the first half before the field goal. Real quick, I did want to give a shout out to Jamal Williams. Hey, he broke Barry Sanders' record. Yes, I get he gets to play one more game than Barry did, but still, getting 17 rushing touchdowns in a season, that's a heck of a thing. Midway through the fourth quarter, Lions regain the lead, and I just figured we should all take a moment for all this guy does, all the cheering for the team, supporting Detroit, and now to set the team rushing record in a season. I mean, that's really impressive.